In only 1 week, one county's COVID-19 cases have almost doubled. What health officials say is the cause. And some Kentuckians are still waiting for unemployment benefits after they filed in March.
The gloomy conditions will continue for the next couple of days, but that weekend forecast is looking a little bit better. I'll have those details right now at 6.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening again. In the last few weeks, the number of COVID-19 cases in Laurel County has essentially doubled. Now, there's a handful of factors going into the spike. WYMT's Connor James talked with the county's public health director about why the numbers have grown.
Yeah, there has been a relatively decent-sized increase in COVID-19 cases here in Laurel County recently. Currently, they're sitting at about 30 active cases as of yesterday at around 5 p.m. Now, there are a handful of reasons for this increase in cases. Public Health Director Mark Hensley says some of that being more people getting out and about and Memorial Day travel. On top of that, he says there's also increased testing in Laurel County. There were 11 additional cases on Monday and then 8 additional cases on Tuesday. Out of Monday and Tuesday's cases, one of the people who contracted COVID-19 is hospitalized.
You know, wear your mask when you're out in the public and maintain that social distancing. Wash your hands frequently. If you're sick, stay home. And just continue to do all those good personal hygiene practices.
Now, Hensley says out of those new cases, they are currently doing contact tracing to see who those people may have come in contact with. Right now, he says he doesn't believe there is any immediate threat to the public. I'm in Laurel County. Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
And we just received an update from the Laurel County Health Department with today's numbers. They have 3 new cases today and 2 more recoveries. So they have 55 total cases and 31 of those are active. I believe they're the 4th county in our viewing area to go above 50 cases. Now, Hensley says COVID fatigue contributes to the spike too. He says society wants to be out and about, but if you're not following safety protocols when you gather, you risk more exposure. Well, Kentucky is nearing 13,000 cases of COVID-19 now. Governor Beshear announced 170 new cases today, along with the deaths of 6 more Kentuckians. At least 518 people have died from the virus, but more than 3,400 have fully recovered. Another county that's seen a spike recently is Harlan County. They now have 15 positive cases, but the first one was not announced there until last month. WYMT's Will Puckett talked with the judge executive and a doctor in Harlan and has more.
Harlan County Judge Executive Dan Mosley knew it was only a matter of time.
People have to refocus and remember that this virus is still here. It's still very real. It's killing people every day. And we all have to do our part to make sure that we don't spread it.
Prior to May 30th, the county has only seen 1 case. Now they've surpassed 15, and 14 of them coming in just about 2 weeks.
When guidelines aren't followed to the direction that they're given at the state level, we've seen these things happen not just here, we've seen them happen all across the state and all across the country.
To date, more than 1,400 tests have been administered in Harlan County, a far cry from just a few weeks ago when we talked with Dr. Abdul Dahan, who had just began his expanded testing.
The number of people tested have increased. The policy that started have become more effective, i.e. swapping people who are not terribly sick, people going to the hospital, or people who come in for non-specific symptoms and they will end up having to be swapped.
While Dr. Dahan acknowledges the virus is here and perhaps here to stay, he says the most important aspect of limiting its impact next to a vaccine is contact tracing.
I would love to do it more. I mean, that's the most important facet of controlling the virus. Because if you find somebody who has it, you trace them, find out who did they give it to, who did they get it from, and stop it, and that will prevent the spread further.
Hoping the vaccine arrives sooner rather than later, but also respecting a virus that attacks our most vulnerable. In Harlan County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
7 of the 9 active cases in Harlan County are from the Tri-Cities area. Mosley says they try to limit where they say the cases are in the county, but in this instance, it is important people in that area know.
Saw the gloomy weather return again today, and sadly we're going to see it continue as we head into the next really couple of days, but I promise better weather's on the way by the weekend. Let's go ahead and take you up some of those cameras though first as we look along Interstate 75 into London. You could see some of those clouds over there, and they've seen maybe some peaks of sunshine at times, but really just seeing those gloomy skies throughout the day. They did get on the warmer side compared to other areas, looking very gloomy right now into downtown Whitesburg. 62 degrees. It's definitely been chilly, especially if you live along that Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia border. But some of us have struggled to get into those 60s. You can see with the cloud and those rain chances set up throughout the day. 60s from Prestonsburg to Jackson and down into parts of Harlan, London now getting into the 60s. However, warmer from Moorhead, Lexington, Danville, and way over to Louisville as they've seen just a little bit more sunshine throughout the day. Pinpoint Doppler showing some stray showers across the area, but overall we are starting to dry out a little bit. However, we are going to hang on to the gloomy conditions and the rain chances heading into the next couple of days. Those cooler temperatures continue, especially for your Thursday, but the first day of summer is fastly approaching. We see that move in by Saturday, and we'll finally see more summer-like weather move in by the weekend. I'll have more details on that coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you very much, Paige. We've seen leaders across the state reaching out to share their condolences to Congressman Andy Barr and his family. Yesterday, his wife, Carol Barr, died suddenly. She was only 39 years old. Krista Frost talked to a neighbor and friend who remembers Carol as someone who could light up any room.
I don't know anybody who's ever met Carol that would ever have an unkind word to say about her.
A statement proven true by the kind words sent from across the political spectrum. Governor Andy Beshear saying, "We are praying for the Barr family." Senator Mitch McConnell telling the Senate floor to meet Carol Barr was to instantly like her. And Ambassador Kelly Craft saying Carol's smile disarmed all those around her.
Her smile would just light up any room. But more than that, she was just so natural, so genuine, so kind.
It was just weeks ago Barr approached Russell asking for running tips. It was a new activity she was hoping to jump into.
Just this past weekend, I saw Carol and she shouted out to me and said, "Hey, Carol." She was out like power walking.
Russell had no idea it would be one of the last times she would see her. Carol Barr died Tuesday night at her home. Today, the coroner announced she died of natural causes, specifically naming the cause as mitral valve prolapse, a heart condition affecting a valve. Andy Barr released a statement this afternoon asking for prayers and saying Carol was, quote, "the greatest, most selfless and giving wife, mother, daughter, sister, and friend anyone could ever have. A woman who people say did so much for everyone else. Now so many are wondering what they can do for this family."
I would do anything to try to ease the pain.
In Lexington, Krista Frost, WKYT.
Leaders from across Kentucky are remembering her. We caught up with Senator Mitch McConnell earlier today.
She was warm and friendly and sort of a co-partner of Andy Barr in representing the 6th District. She was a great young woman, and this is a really tragic loss.
Senator McConnell said Carol's warm personality always filled the room. Well, we now know the name of the man killed in an apartment fire in Pulaski County yesterday morning. Pulaski County Coroner Clyde Strunk tells us 53-year-old Philip Rose died in that fire. It happened at the Western Hills Apartments just off Hale Knob Road in West Somerset. Strunk believes Rose died from smoke inhalation, but is waiting on the autopsy results from the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort to list an official cause of death. No word on what led to that fire. Do you love the outdoors? Well, the Senate passed a bipartisan bill to preserve several beloved Kentucky places. The Great American Outdoors Act also increases funding for Kentucky's national parks, wildlife refuges, forests, and other public lands. It invests in preservation and maintenance. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell explains what this means for some of Eastern Kentuckians' favorite places.
Important to places like Cumberland Gap and the Daniel Boone National Forest. We have not provided adequate maintenance funding for roads, access, that kind of thing for our national parks for years. This addresses that long overdue need.
Senator McConnell says this bill will also help increase tourism. The bill now heads to the House of Representatives. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues, local doctors are finding new ways to treat their patients. Frontier Medical Associates is adding a mobile response unit and adding hours to their clinic at every location. WYMT's Emily Bennett has the details.
Since COVID-19, many doctors' offices offered curbside clinics, so patients never even had to leave their car. But now Frontier Medical Associates is taking it one step further. They bought an ambulance to turn into a mobile clinic. This way they can come to people's homes so patients will have less contact with others. This service is not just for COVID-19 testing, although that will be one of their main services. Nurses will staff the unit and doctors will be back at the office, but will be able to examine them with real-time ear scopes and throat cameras. They will even be able to listen to their heart and lungs.
We can basically just treat this patient right on site at their home, at their location, without really traveling and coming and sit in a waiting room, aggregated, or getting in more contact with other patients.
Now they plan to start offering this service next week, and you can call any of their offices to set up an appointment. Dr. Hanna says they are working on setting up a route and schedule based on demand. In Prestonsburg, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Frontier Medical does stress that this is not for any life-threatening care. You should contact 911 if you need an ambulance.
The gloomy weather continues heading into your Thursday and Friday, but we look to see more sunshine heading into the weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
And with demonstrations still popping up across the nation and people working to spread love and unity in the streets, one Pike County man is working to do the same in his tattoo shop.